So there I was, 15 years old, my very first job, Wendy's. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was on 13th and G Street Northwest. And I actually had that job before I was supposed to. Notice I said 15 years old. So I did some things to get there. So of course I was expecting some things to happen, like the hours that I worked. The number of hours that I worked, I was always good with math, okay? I expected that times the amount that they said that they were going to actually pay me hourly. I expected that to be my paycheck after 2 weeks. And I was so excited to get that, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, flipping burgers and putting the ketchup and pickles and all that on there, I was happy to do that, okay? Because I was excited to get my very first paycheck. So I go in, I get my check. This is back in the day. You didn't get direct deposit. You got a paper check. I get that check. I'm looking at it. I'm all excited to get whatever the amount was. I don't remember the exact amount at this point, but I knew it was supposed to be this number times this number equal this number, okay? And you know what? They ripped me off. I remember going to my mother and I said, Mom, they took my money. I'm showing her the check. They took my money. And she says, you didn't know about Uncle Sam? I'm like, who? Wait a minute. My mother has no brothers, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Uncle Sam. I know my mother's sister. That's all. So what are you talking about? And she just laughed at me. And I was like, this is not right. I felt deceived. I felt cheated. I felt like, why didn't anybody tell me? And this is not fair. Now, I told that story so many times that I got to a point where somebody said to me, after laughing, of course, they said to me, you know, you don't have to pay the taxes like that, don't you? That got my attention. And I remember it like it was yesterday. So Daddy died in 1988, and we were very close. I was the oldest of 3 girls, and unfortunately my parents were separated, but my father was so important in my life. He taught me a lot of things while he was here and after he left. One of the things that really stuck out with me in 1988 was he actually looked to take care of us, just like he took care of us when he was gone. When he was here. So he left my sisters and my stepmother at the time, and we had a good piece of money, okay? A good piece of insurance. Life insurance is very important. I gotta let you know, to leave for your family. And my daddy did that. He left us a very nice piece of change. And me, because I was the oldest, what he ended up doing was giving it to us like lump sums, okay? Now, here's the thing is, I knew that my daddy knew some things outside of the box, if you will, because he gave us that. He left pensions, we were beneficiaries and so forth. And what happened though is he left it to be in a trust, okay? And my stepmother actually said that. Oh, your daddy left this in a trust. So he knew some things, but he didn't know everything because he did not know to set that trust up. So some of the funds that he left us, they actually went into his probate, okay? That was an eye-opener because once it's in probate, somebody else controls it, okay? Now, what Daddy did do is left us the insurance money. So we did, I don't know if you know, life insurance is always a great thing to have because you get that free and clear once you're 18 or over, okay? So we got that, and I'm looking at my circle, and I'm like, oh gosh, I got this nice piece of money, 6-figure. What do I do with this? I'm, 20-some years old? I had no idea what to do with this so that I could use this money, even today as I'm speaking now. I knew that there were some options, but what it was really eye-opening to me was that there was nobody in my circle. No one in my circle. I mean, I had my siblings or siblings of my friends who were accountants, they were in finance, they had graduated from college, and they had no idea what to do. The best thing that I got was to put it in a CD. Ladies and gentlemen, you put your money in a CD, you will not be able to live off of it 40 years from now, okay? And that's the end of that story. It was 1991, and I was carrying my son. And little did I know what was coming afterwards. One day I'm walking, and I'm carrying him. He's carrying my son in my belly, I should say. Let me be clear. And I'm walking, and my hip gives out. When I go to the doctor, the OBGYN, he informs me, oh, it's just your body adjusting to the extra weight. It'll be fine 6 weeks after you give birth. I'm like, okay. So we go through the process, and I'm getting bigger, and my hips are giving out. It actually was my left hip. It was giving out. And ladies and gentlemen, it did not get better after my son was born in September, okay? I ended up having to have hip surgery. Hip surgery several months after my son was born. So now imagine this. You are a brand new mother, home with your child, nice, beautiful baby son, walking around, and all of a sudden you're going to get him a bottle or something, and you go down, and you don't even know if you can hold yourself up, much less your son. That was so scary to me. I was very, very concerned because they didn't know what it was. 6 weeks later, it was getting worse. Come to find out, there was a breakdown of the fluid in my hips from something I was diagnosed with a year or two prior to that. And I was given some medication, some prescription medication for that. And this was a side effect. So now here I am, January, following that September, now in surgery, leaving my son, my precious boy, with someone else to take care of. And just think about it. I was now, had the surgery, come back home, now I'm taking care of him from the bed. From the bed, ladies and gentlemen. But you know something? Here's what I have to say, is God always provides a way. He always provides a way. What happened with this scenario gave me what I needed to be able to rely on him. Because think about this. There is no one in my circle at the time, my mother, my grandmother. You know, when you get in your 50s, 60s, 70s, that's when you have hip surgery, okay? I was the first one in my family to even experience that, and I'm in my 20s. Yeah, when most 20-year-olds, they're partying, you know, they're taking their children out to the park and playground. I'm trying to get my life together walking. Now, one thing I have to say is I was very grateful for the surgery because I was able to walk and at a point that no one knew that I had the hip surgeries. I was very grateful for that. I've had 5 surgeries since then, 5 different hips. I know, yes, I have 2 hips, but 2 on one side, 3 on the other. But it has grown my faith to a tremendous, tremendous place. And I'm happy to say that. And that is how my life went.
Thank you so much for watching The Making of an Entrepreneur DocuSeries. I just want to take a moment to talk to you. That's right, you that's watching right now. You the mom, or maybe you're the dad, or maybe you're an entrepreneur, or perhaps you're an auntie or uncle, but you're someone out there that has a heart to give, you have a heart to serve, and as you're watching this Making of an Entrepreneur DocuSeries, you may be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, I've had some life lessons, I've had some setbacks, I've had some experiences, I've gone through some things that have helped me become a better person, and I want to take that and I want to release that to other folks. Okay. Maybe you're a speaker and you're already doing it. Maybe you've written books and you've already done that. Or maybe the story that's inside of you, the expertise that's inside of you, the message inside of you, this is the right platform for you to make a bigger difference and a bigger impact in the world. Now, this whole Making of an Entrepreneur DocuSeries, if you had to sum it up in just one word, and it's kind of hard to do that, but as I'm talking to you and you're listening right now, you might be saying, Shay, what's the one word? And the one word I would say is just legacy. Legacy. There's a legacy I understand that you want to leave for your family, and I get that, but there's also a legacy of your knowledge, there's a legacy of your expertise, And think about this. You're able to share your message or share your story or share your expertise. And long after you're gone, they still have a window into the soul of who you are and the impact that leaves behind. If that's you and you someone that's want to get the information, you're someone that's ready to do something bigger than just your business and bigger than just making more money, but you want to have more meaning in the world, do me a favor. Go over to www.themakingofanontrepreneurDocuSeries.com. I know that's a long email, a long address, but I want you to hear it again one more time. themakingofanoentrepreneur.com. Now, when you get there, just put your first name and your last name and your phone number and information in there. Worst case scenario, you have a meeting with the team and decide, hey, me being a cast member, this isn't a good fit, but I had a lot of fun. Best case scenario, you decide to take a step. Folks understand your backstory, understand what you've been through, and the world is much better off while you're here. And when the day comes and you decide to transition and move on, it's still doing very, very well. So with that being said, I just want to pop in. Thanks a lot for watching the Making of an Entrepreneur series. My name is Shay Brown. I want to encourage you to continue to watch, and I'll see you at the next episode. God bless.
It was 9/11, 2001, and I, like many, ended up losing my job. It was a lot of loss back then. And funny enough, a year prior to that, I actually remember thinking, I don't feel like I'm making a difference here. Now, mind you, I had a great job, making 6 figures. I had purchased a home at 23 years old and had my son. Things were going well, but I just wasn't feeling fulfilled. And I just remember asking God, I said, who's going to pay me to do this, like somewhere else? I had no clue. But 9/11, losing that job, it actually directed me in a whole nother direction. I remember feeling like, wow, what am I going to do now? But I also remember feeling relieved. And my stepmother actually sent me an email actually she responded to an email, and she said to me, because what we did back in, because I was in the IT, let me tell you, I was in the IT field. In the IT field, we could get a job in a week, 2 weeks, and we were good, okay, for over a decade. But that wasn't that was not the situation at this point. And I remember my stepmother saying, what is it that you want to do? I sent out the resume like, hey, I'm looking again. And I said, you know something? Good question. Because I really didn't want to go back to what I was doing. And I remember taking a couple of days to answer her. And I crafted that email back to her. Well, I was doing software development. I guess I should be looking for something like that. But I really didn't want to go back. And God led me down a whole nother path of that entrepreneur world. I never looked back. And here's the thing. After doing that graduating 4-year degree, okay, getting that job, getting the home, setting up the whole family, having, husband, child, and so forth, one thing my father told me was follow your heart. I actually have a plaque. It's a heart shape. It says follow your heart. And that was one thing that 9/11, that whole loss, allowed me to be able to do, was to follow my heart, to make a difference, to move in purpose, and to know your worth, the worth that your Creator put you here for. One of the defining moments of my life was when I was actually nominated for an honorary doctorate. And this was by a young lady who had received her PhD. She actually did the doctoral work, if you will, okay? And what it really opened my eyes, because my mother, she actually wanted me to go to grad school. She encouraged me to go to grad school and on to get my doctorate as well. And I actually enrolled into Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore twice for my master's. I recognized, though, that there was another path for me. because each term that I enrolled, there was something that stopped me. One of them was that hip replacement, okay? So I couldn't take the class. I didn't start because of that. And the other was I was leaving. I was actually moving a job and shifting, so I could not do the on-site campus. So God led me in a different way. Years later, I'm nominated for an honorary doctorate. And because of the work that I had actually done over decades, and this young lady who put work in herself for a doctorate nominated me. And I really thought about that. I was like, wow, it's really important who you listen to, because my mother wanted me to go the path that she knew to go. I went the path that God had me go, and I ended up with a doctorate. Yes, it was honorary, but it's still a PhD, a doctorate. And I was able to share that with my mother and even open her eyes with that there's more than one way to get to where you are. So I say, pay attention to who you listen to. It's very, very important to pay attention to that, along with following your heart. Nothing happens by accident. You see, I learned a long time ago, we always have a choice. There's no such thing as a bad day. That's a choice that I made a long time ago. It doesn't matter what happens. All of us have things that happen. As I said, I lost my job with the 9/11, like I'm sure a lot of people did. I flipped over in a Volkswagen back in my first car, actually, okay? I'm still here, walked out the windshield, but I'm still here to talk about it. I actually have gone through divorce, bankruptcy. The 9/11, it really triggered some things. And even with my father dying in 1988 and me being left here to figure things out, what I recognize is it all happens for a reason. It's all in divine order. And here's what I mean. If I hadn't had the job at Wendy's and thinking that Uncle Sam took my money, okay, I would never know what I knew about voluntarily removing myself from the tax system, okay? I wouldn't have known anything about that. I wouldn't know how to protect the assets that God has blessed me with by the trust. I wouldn't know the information that I know about the trust, and not just know, but how to use that. I wouldn't know that everybody needs somebody in their circle that they can go to, that they can trust, and they can go to ask, what do I do with this large life insurance policy? How do I allow this money to work for me years later? Everybody needs that in their circle. I wouldn't know if my father hadn't made the mistake in thinking that the trust would be created after he died. I would not have delved into learning that, no, you live with the trust now. While you are alive, breathing, it's an entity that you live with, and it protects you while you're here. You see, this is choice. A choice to not look at things negatively, but to look and ask. Not why or why me, but to ask very plainly, what is it that I'm supposed to learn from? What am I supposed to grow from here? Lord, what is it that you want me to know and to be able to model later on? And I have to say, because nothing happens by accident, God made me that person that I needed back in 1988, okay, to assist others for that. So I hope you recognize nothing happens by accident.
It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown. I just want to speak to you, the speaker, or maybe not even a speaker, right? Maybe you're not a speaker, but you have a message inside of you that you want to release, or maybe you have a story, right? A story of your life, a story in your career, or maybe as you're listening right now, you're an expert, right? You're an expert at teaching people how to do something. You're an expert at raising kids. And I want you to imagine for a moment that you had an opportunity to share your message or your story on a bigger stage. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment and what that would mean for you if you could reach your target audience. If you're an entrepreneur, if that target audience got associated to the problem that you solve, or if you're a super entrepreneur with sales funnels out there, not only did it get associated to who you were, but they were able to join your list. Now, for other folks, that won't make no sense at all. But for you, the entrepreneur, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I want to invite you over to something called the Comeback Champion Summit. And the whole purpose of the Comeback Champion Summit is really to do one thing, which is one word, and that is possibilities. That's right. When you get a chance to get on stage, you get a chance to do it virtually, and some of you maybe in person, and you get a chance to share your story. So something deep, deep inside of you. I always say your message, because some of you have a message or your expertise. Then guess what happens? 3 things happen. Number 1, you get to make a difference. And isn't that why you are on this earth? I mean, I don't want to get emotional here, but you're really on this earth to make a difference for someone else. Something has happened to you so it can go through you to someone else. And being able to speak on a platform that provides an audience, it's like I'm the microphone that allows you to help more people faster. So that's number 1. Number 2, when you're on a platform, I'm going to invite you to the Comeback Champion Summit, you get a chance to have more meaning in the world, to have more impact, and to have more influence. And that's really who we're looking for. We're looking for folks out there who have an interest, want, or desire of serving others. So if that's you, I'm going to invite you to go over to www.comebackchampionsummit.com. Again, comebackchampionsummit.com. Click the button. It'll say apply to speak. Go through the process. And if it's a good fit, can't wait to share your story over at the Comeback Champion Summit or any one of our platforms that serves other folks. With that being said, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone, and we'll make some good things happen. We connect again real soon. See you out.
If I were to sit down and have a conversation with my 21-year-old self, here's one of the things that I would actually share. I would say, Monica, know when a business is to make money and when a business is to lose money. You might be thinking, huh? That doesn't make sense. Aren't businesses supposed to actually make money? Well, if you recall my story as far as the income tax situation and having a job, one of the things that I did learn was to be able to purchase things in a business form so that I can leverage and keep more dollars in my pocket. You see, the Internal Revenue Code is written for business owners, okay? Small or large, for business owners. And learning that, I recognized that I was in network marketing. I was a phone card holder, like a vending machine type thing. I've had an academic empowerment learning center where we taught math and tutoring. I have done, I can go on and on, okay? But what I've learned is I was first doing it, buying things that I was actually going to buy from somebody else, but buying it from myself, keeping more money in my pocket, okay? So I had businesses that were losing money, but I was able to keep more money, stop the IRS from taking more out of my actual W-2 paycheck because I was buying things from myself and having a loss. Now, once my life turned around after the 9/11 and I was out of the W-2 job, and I found myself now in business, the businesses had to make money then. It's a difference. That means a whole different mindset. And it took me, I call it tuition, some good tuition to learn about that. But it was worth it because when you learn that way, it sticks. When you're paying and you lose, and then you go back and do it again, you're going to do it the right way and you're going to be more focused. And that is what I would tell my 21-year-old self. One of the most defining principles in my life is to not only pay attention to who you listen to, but know where they get their information from. Now, what do I mean by that? You see, people are educated in different ways. And where they get their education from, that actually says what they're going to teach you. For instance, I'm a banker. I'll go in and I talk to my banker and I ask them to do certain things. And they'll say, oh no, you can't do that. It's like, what do you mean I can't do that? I did this at the other branch. Or I did this across the line at the same bank at the other state. And the reason that they're telling me that I could not do it is because they didn't know how to do it. So it's very important that we pay attention to who we're listening to, and when we are trying to do things or we are actually doing things, we set our intentions to do things, we have to pay attention to that. And there's a couple different ways. So I'm talking about the bankers, even our accountants, our CPAs, they're all taught from a system that they're told what to tell us, and that's what they tell us. And some of it is accurate, but some of it is accurate for a cause that's not in our best interest, i.e. my best interest, okay? So, Monica, watch who you're listening to, pay attention closely to that, and ask yourself, did they get their education from experience, or did they get it from a systematic educational system? It's very, very important. And that's a very important thing that I would tell myself. Start now and build your circle strategically. Now you may ask, what do you mean by that? Very simply, the people that are around you make a difference in your life. There is a point, as I said, when my father died and left us the money and I had no one in my circle that could guide me to what it is that I was trying to actually do. And that situation, it was actually have that money last so I could be living off of it now. At least something will be coming in now, strategically. Nobody was around at that point. So it's very important to have people around, but to strategically build that, like purposefully, knowing that you want somebody that's spiritually, you want somebody that's mentally, you want someone that's emotionally, you want someone that's physically, you want someone that is socially and financially. All of those areas is very, very important. A quick story. I'm a trustee of multiple trusts, and I'm blessed to have people in my life that I trust to take over as a trustee if something happens to me, so they can carry on the business of the trust without skipping a beat. And I know that they're going to do that. I have them in place. Some of my clients, some people that I talk to, some of them my friends, they don't have that. And I had a long, hard conversation with someone sharing, why don't you think you have that in your circle? Because you didn't purpose for that. It's fine to have people that you're playing, going out, hanging out, having fun with. All of that is a great thing. But what we really know is that's not all that it is to life. So what we want to do, Monica, because I tell myself this, is start now and to build your circle strategically. What's a reason why individuals want to work with us? Well, I'll tell you why. We follow the 4 tenets of wealth. And I'm going to share what those tenets are with you. This is very important that you understand this. The first tenet is to put your money in the proper tax position. The second tenet of wealth is to protect your money. The third tenet is to have your money go out and make friends and bring them back home, okay? Go out and make friends and bring them back. Make that money your employees, if you will. And finally, the fourth tenet of wealth is to pass that money on to generations tax-free. Now, we believe in what Nelson Rockefeller says, own nothing, control everything. Own nothing, control everything. That's a little opposite of what we were taught. Again, I owned my first home at age 23. Didn't know I shouldn't have had my name on it, because when your name is on something, it can be taxed or taken from you. So why should people work with us? Robert Kiyosaki, author of a book, famous book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but I'm going to direct you to one thing that made a difference in my life. It's the book Fake. Fake. It's like 3 books in one. It's fake money, fake teachers, and fake assets. He talks about all of that. But one of the things that really stuck out to me was a fake teacher. Think about that. Our education system puts people in place to be able to teach things that they've never done. Think about that. Teach things that they've never done. So Would you want someone to teach you how to fly an airplane if they've never flown a plane? Of course not. Of course you don't, because you probably would crash in them too, wouldn't you? So you need a real teacher to learn how to fly a plane, okay? And you're looking at a real teacher now, as well as the people that we work with. All of us that work with this, we actually use these products. We are trustees. We own cash. We can build our own banks. We own lots of policies. And when I say own, the trust own, okay? We are using the products. That's why it sounds like I might be good in sales, but really I'm passionate about it because it's what I do. I live this life, my lifestyle. And we share that with our community, with our family, individuals, organizations, companies. And that's why you want to come work with us. What I most enjoyed about this evening was working with some dynamic people that are in purpose. You've heard me share about creating your circle strategically. Well, that's what's happened right here, is working with people that they love doing what they do. You can see it. They absolutely love doing what they do. I believe that they would show up and do it whether they got paid or not, honestly. And that's really who you want to work with in life. You want to pick the experts and let the experts do their job, and hopefully the experts get paid for it, because why shouldn't they? Think about it. Everybody should be compensated for being in purpose. That's why we're here on this earth, and that's why I've had such an outstanding, fun, exciting time tonight.
It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, and I just want to talk to all my entrepreneurs out there. And if that's you, like you, the entrepreneur, you, the business owner, you, the speaker, you, the coach, you, the author, you, the network marketer, you, the person that just want to do more good in the world by solving a problem, and you want to be paid, right? And so think about right now, if you had more high qualified paying clients that was like banging at your door, how would your life be different? When there's more revenue coming in and you're able to hire more people and you're able to make a bigger difference, what would that look like? Or number two, maybe there's folks that are coming in right now and they're knocking at your door, boom, 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 boom. But the only challenge you have is you're listening. Listen very closely, because this might be you, so listen very carefully. They're not converting fast enough, which means they're talking, they like you, there's conversation going on, but they're not converting. So there's two challenges, right? Number one, I need to attract my ideal client to me who can pay me. And number two, once they get in here, I need to have a system, a sales model, or a process so they convert faster. That means they pay you and then they come back. And if you're listening right now, you're saying, Shay, I want to be able to do that, but I don't want my labor involved. I don't want to work any harder. Shay, I'm at a place right now where I'm ready to reach more people. I'm on a mission, Shay. And I want you to listen very carefully. You were called to serve a group of folks out there, and you can't serve them right now because you don't have the revenue to purchase the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision. If that's you as you're listening, any of that resonates with you, I'm gonna give you a website, which is Easy Sales Hub. Again, easysaleshub.com. Let me just spell it. I know you can see it below, but it's EASY, sales, SALES, hub.com. Now, the reason you want to go over to easysaleshub.com is that that's the place you can come to, and you can do two things. One, we'll do a sales audit. So we'll take a look at your sales process, your sales funnels, and we'll see how those are converting. Number two, you can have the tools and resources you need to be able to generate more revenue with less effort so you can serve more folks. So with that being said, as you're watching, go over to www.easysaleshub.com. My name is Shay Brown. Make it a great day, everyone, and we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless.